Hi, I'm Aspen Jonas, and today I will show you how to check for mites on your bird, specifically chickens. One thing we're first gonna look at the bird, then we're gonna look at their habitat, and then we're gonna talk about how to prevent mites. So first, let's start by looking at the bird. So first, you want to check for their comb. His comb looks bright and nice of color. You want it to be like a reddish color, or whatever color the chicken's comb typically is. You're looking for discoloration and a lighter in color. If they look super pale, that means that they could have blood loss. So first we're going to look at their vent. It's okay. First we're going to look at their vent area. So their vent, if you just first flip up, I don't see any red or black spots, but they like to hang out typically around the base of their feathers. So we're going to just dig in here a little bit. I know, sorry, Bood. And his feathers look really nice and white, and we don't see any red or black spots. Mites like to hang out around their vents because it's nice and warm and wet. The other spot they like to hang out is underneath their wings. So I'm just going to slowly bring out his wing and tuck it up, and then we're going to look right here under his wing. And I'm just kind of slightly parting the feathers, looking all the way down the shaft of the feather, all the way down to the skin. And he looks pretty good. And then the other place you want to check is up here on his wing itself. He's got some long feathers. So if you can see that, he's got some pretty clean white skin down there. He's losing some feathers. And then we're going to check his back as well. So you just take the feathers and pull them up, and his back looks really good. He's molting, so he's losing some feathers and also gaining some, but he doesn't have any black or red spots that would indicate that he has mites. So overall, this chicken doesn't have mites, but doesn't mean that you have mites in your environment. So we are going to check for mites in the coop. So what you want to do is you're going to go to your coop, and you're going to grab a white rag of any variety. And we're just going to go over to a perch, and we're going to wipe a spot of the perch, just a little bit, and it should just be white or dirty. You don't want any red spots. Red spots would indicate that there are mites on your birds, sucking their blood, and they fell off and got on there. The other thing you can do is pick up fallen feathers, and you want to look for little bugs or mites stuck on the shaft or in the fluff of the feathers. This feather looks pretty clean. Let's grab one more just for comparison. Here's another down feather, and that one looks actually really clean as well. The other good way to help keep mites out of your coop is to keep it mostly not as fully covered with straw. Mites really like to be down and deep in the straw, so it's nice to have it lightly covered. And then some of the ways you can help prevent mites is by using a few different things. There is this chemical spray that we like to use whenever we clean out the chicken coop. We use this and we spray it on the walls, and it helps basically kill mites and any eggs that the mites might have laid. We spray it on the walls and the floor and just kind of wash everything down with it. That one does not go on the birds. There's this other one that we typically use that is a powder form that we will, if the birds are heavily infested and we can see the mites crawling around on the birds, we'll basically take the birds, flip their feathers up, and just dust them with the mite powder. It looks like flour basically, and you just dust it with them. It's safe for the birds. Some people don't like to use it, but it is relatively pretty safe for the birds. I only put it directly on the birds when they are heavily infested. If they are not really heavily infested, but you have signs of mites in your coop, you want to put some of the dust in their dust bath. So if I'll take you over here, we have our chicken dust bath that the chickens like to roll around and dust bathe in, and that also helps get the mites off of them. So if your chickens have mites but they're not heavily infested, you can go over here where the kitty is, in here is loose dirt and ashes, which the chickens will bathe in, and they'll roll around and dust the dirt up and under their feathers and in their wings, and it makes them, it's like a neutralizing agent, especially the ash, that will suffocate the mites, because it will coat the mites' skin and it will suffocate the mites. And that's basically the same idea that the powder does and the chemical powder does. Typically, we just let the chickens use the dust bath, and we just wipe down the area once or twice a month to do that. And it keeps a pretty healthy flock. There are other ways you could do it. There are organic, non-chemical sprays that you can use. You can also help your chickens prevent mites and mites not getting on your chickens by feeding them garlic, ground up garlic, crushed garlic, just the little casing that the garlic comes in. It sounds weird, but the mites are kind of like vampires. They hate the taste of the garlic in the chicken's blood, in the chicken's bloodstream, so they're less likely to attach and reproduce on a chicken when they have garlic, when they've been eating a consistent supply of garlic. It's something that I wouldn't recommend doing all the time unless your chickens are prone to really getting mites. I think just a simple ash dust bath and a monthly cleaning of their coop is good enough. But if they do get mites, you want to act quickly, because it can end up killing the bird, and it will also lead to other blood infections if there are other sicknesses in the coop. And that's really about it. It's really quick and simple to just pick up your bird and look for mites, and it will help your birds in the long run, and everybody will stay nice and healthy and lay lots of eggs. Thanks!